Now, support for anti-government demonstrations in Turkey appears arguably to be growing this evening. That's as unions call a strike in protest at police brutality. Protesters have been driven out of Taksim Square in Istanbul, but they're still out on the streets. And they're very much in the capital, Ankara. Meanwhile, the Prime Minister has been holding a rally just 10 kilometres away in Istanbul. Now, Sheriff Isler is from our Turkish service, joins us here. Is it over or is it still going on? There are different interpretations here.
It's still going on. I mean, for the past 2.5 weeks now, every time I started my shift, I thought, well, today might be the day when something happens and one side or the other will break. And that hasn't happened. Both sides have been at a stalemate since the very start of this thing. It's been black and white, 50-50. So, I mean, it depends really very much on the stamina either side has left.
Well, you would certainly think Prime Minister Erdogan hasn't got a problem there from the way he's been talking. But you've got two unions that have confirmed a short time ago that they are having a one-day strike tomorrow. Does that make much of a difference?
It makes a difference in terms of the numbers, because unions are not as strong as they used to be in Turkey. They are still relatively strong. However, they used to be stronger. It will add to the number. Of course, it will add to the news of this. It will add to the legitimacy of it, because if you have two unions joining in on what could very well easily be interpreted as street sort of protests, then that adds a bit more legitimacy to what's happening on the streets.
We've seen tear gas being fired again. We've seen skirmishes going on outside of Taksim Square, barricades being brought down. Is there any sign that that sort of clampdown does have an effect on driving away the protesters? That you mentioned stamina. I mean, does it look like they actually might run out of steam?
Really, I have to say no. So far, for 2.5 weeks, they've been on the streets, they've been tear-gassed, they've had a police crackdown, and you know what's happening today and starting yesterday, that has been the strongest one since the start of the protest, and that's been very brutal almost. But the protesters keep coming back with more, and they keep increasing in numbers. So the more the police applies the pressure, the more they seem to be able to resist this.
And yet you see Prime Minister Erdogan a short distance away with another rally today. There was one yesterday near Ankara with tens of thousands of supporters, it seems. I mean, huge numbers.
Yes.
The obvious question is, we've probably asked this every day for the last 2 weeks, but where is this going?
Well, it has definitely polarized the country at this stage. I mean, in 2008, 2009, warnings were being made that the society had become a bit more polarized in Turkey than what it used to be. And back then, the Prime Minister had dismissed these claims, saying there was a unified Turkey. If anything, these 2 weeks have shown us, it is that society is definitely polarized in Turkey. So where is this going? Well, it is a bit of a wait-and-see game, because both sides seem to be increasing in numbers. Today, Mr. Erdogan is holding his rally. It is a very, very big crowd. It's not small. So clearly, he has support as well in the country.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately,
so,
he's a democratically elected leader,
yes,
of course.
Exactly. He has won 3 consecutive elections. There is a local election coming up in March. And so he did announce that this rally would be the start of his local election campaign. Now, numbers at this March election is going to say a lot about what this protest has achieved or failed to achieve.
OK, Sheriff, we'll leave it there for now. Thank you very much indeed. Thank you.